Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel, TammyTalks here. So let's go ahead and get into Growing Up Hip Hop, Season 6, Episode 23, Parental Advisory. Why is this not Season 7? Do we know why? Alright, so let's go ahead and get right into it, y'all. If you're brand new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thumbs up the video if you enjoyed the content. Hop into the comment section and let's talk about this episode. So the episode starts off with Cree going to meet up with Luke. And she basically tells her dad that she blacked out on Sequoia because Sequoia got slick with her at the mouth. You're lying. Let's tell the entire story, not just the part that suits you or your narrative. So she said that she was triggered by the mention of having kids. But here's the thing though, Cree is acting like Sequoia knows that she is having trouble conceiving and threw in her face that's why you don't have kids. Sequoia merely said, once you have kids, then maybe you will understand what I'm talking about. That is a very common phrase that people say. However, Cree feels that Sequoia needs to watch what she says because you don't know what people will be triggered by. But my thing is, why aren't you telling Savannah that? Why aren't you bringing that up to your, why aren't you taking taking that into account for yourself? Because you and Savannah were saying a lot of off-brand shit to her too. Cree is really doing a lot. So she does say that she does want to talk to Sequoia and she wants to own up to what she said. And Luke kind of tells her, yeah, you can't be out here fighting and shit. I've had the moments where I blacked out. That's not cool. So, Cree, you're just too old for this. Honestly and truly, you're too old for this. So, we switch over to Sequoia and Brianna. Sequoia is in the studio and Brianna comes in. Brianna wants to know what happened at the party that caused her artwork to get messed up and to get trampled over. That's all Brianna cares about. So Sequoia said, well, the Gross sisters from the Pride family, referring to Savannah and Cree, she said that they were coming at her sideways, even though she was there on some kumbaya wanting to make peace with everybody. So Brianna said that initially she didn't want to mess with her because she heard that she had beef with Denise. And no one has drama with Denise. And I think it is so funny how that is consistent across the board. So anytime somebody is she got into it with Denise, everybody is like, Denise, not Denise. I love how it is consistent across the board that Denise don't F with nobody, so nobody should be effing with her. So Sequoia said that she can admit that she overreacted with Denise. And for whatever reason, Savannah felt the need to try to take up and defend Denise. And Savannah just made that entire thing ratchet. And I love how Brianna made a face, the same face that we all made when Savannah felt like she needed to take up for Denise when her husband was there. And when all these other people were there, you don't even, have we ever seen a scene with Savannah and Denise in it? Okay. So Sequoia said that she came through to the party. She was trying to be apologetic. She wanted to work everything out, but they weren't hearing her. They were too busy, on some rah-rah stuff. But because of who their parents are, and out of respect for their parents' relationship, she wants to fix everything with everybody. You know what I mean? Most people that come on the show don't want to cross the Simmons kids because Rev Run is friends with everybody. Rev Run is the OG in the game. And so now with this, with Jodeci and Luke, the thing on this show is their parents are all OGs in the game, right? They are all somebody. They're legends. So they're all friends. They're all cool with each other. They all have a mutual respect for each other. And what they don't want is to cause some type of beef because their kids aren't getting along. And that was the big thing with JoJo and Sam. When they were beefing, it was kind of I have a respect for, Treasure. I have a respect for Rev Run and all this other type of stuff. Y'all shouldn't be fighting at all. You know what I mean? So Brianna is okay, well, I like the vibe I'm getting from you now. Have you met Tahira? She said that she's going to introduce her to Vanessa and TT. She's going to have an aromatherapy night so that she can meet kind of more of the cast. And Sequoia was like, cool, I just don't know how Vanessa's gonna be. Brianna was like, damn, I didn't even think about that. She was like, but Vanessa is pretty level-headed, and I think things will be perfectly fine with that. So Sequoia said that she didn't make the Angela situation a big deal. Everyone else did. Here's Sequoia. You gotta keep doing this, sweetheart, because we've all seen the show. Now I don't know when these 2 seasons were shot. Like, is this been one continuous season? So you guys haven't seen the tape yet? But Sequoia, you absolutely came on the scene talking about you don't want to be around Angela, and you and Angela might have beef because she was messing with your baby daddy. You brought that up. If you would have never brought that up, if you would have never used Angela's name to get on the show the way that you did, this wouldn't be an issue. So we have Sam and Eric. Sam is boxing, working out. Eric comes and asks him what's going on, what happened with the fight. Eric said that Sam views him as like a big brother, and he comes to him for advice, so he doesn't want to turn him away in his time of need. I said, oh yeah, Eric? Okay. So Sam said that security was calling him gay and all this other type of stuff, and they jumped his friend. And then they started coming at him. And they had their guns out, but he never fired his gun, even though they were shooting at him. He said then they beat him up for a little bit, and then he was arrested. Sam, that doesn't make sense. Now, we will probably never hear the real story, right? But Sam, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That also doesn't necessarily correlate with what Egypt said. Because Sam said that Egypt had her back turned, so she didn't even see what happened. Meanwhile, Egypt is saying that she jumped in because somebody was jumping Sam. What happened? What really happened? There has been somebody that said that this was all, I forgot who it was, but somebody on Twitter said that this was kind of all just as a storyline for the show. I don't know if I believe that either. Who knows? But this is stupid. So Sam said he's looking at 15 years. He has 4 counts. Each count carries 2 to 6 years. Eric is just kind of like, how would you feel if you went to jail? Like, you have kids. What are you going to do about Egypt? Because y'all aren't just boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. Y'all are engaged. Y'all are building a life together. You guys live together. Sam is like, Egypt will be just fine on her own. She can stand on her own 2 feet and live the way she's been living. And I'm like, that is just a very odd thing to say. It's a very odd way to say it. But Eric kind of told him, think about your kids. Going into jail is not like what it's cracked up to be. Like, it's not just gonna be an in and out type of situation. Like, you're a slave in there. You're a prisoner. You can't do what you want to do. You can't talk to your kids when you want to talk to them. You can't talk to your family members. So Eric is like trying to get some wisdom in his big ass head, and Sam is just like really not paying attention. So then we have TT, Brianna, and Vanessa. They're at this little aromatherapy thing that Brianna has set up. So they're talking about the essential oils, and they're trying different ones on. And Brianna brings up the incident at Twist's party, and she asked if they know what happened at the showcase. The 3 of them weren't at the showcase, so they only know what they've heard from everyone else. So Vanessa is like, the only thing I know about Sequoia is that she had issues with people in my family. I just want to know why she came in so hot and heavy. And Brianna was like, no, she's not on that. She's really cool. Wait, I'll go see if that's her. Vanessa was like, well, damn, she's here. Now, you know, Vanessa done got in trouble a time or two because she is known to kind of run her mouth and cooperate with the apps, if you will. Like, she has the habit of being seen on camera talking to people that have an issue with her brother and her sister. So for this to be like the 3rd or 4th time we've seen this happen now, it's going to be a little awkward for Vanessa. But Sequoia comes in, and TT was completely awkward, and she was like, nice to meet you, because, you know, she don't have no beef with her. So Vanessa's awkward. Vanessa was like, I mean, it's nice to meet you, but, like, you know, Vanessa doesn't know how to play it. But she's basically like, is awkward because, you know, what's going on. Sequoia tells her straight up, look, I know it's awkward for you, but full transparency, you can ask me anything you want. Like, we can be as transparent as we need to be to have a cordial conversation. So Vanessa said that she just wants to break the ice. She wants to know what happened. Sequoia said that she didn't know Tenise was pregnant. She had never met her. She said, but she has talked to JoJo. She wants to apologize to Tenise. She does acknowledge that she did overreact. So she wants to apologize to Tenise. And she talked to JoJo. Tenise wasn't at the event that JoJo was at. She talked to him. They are on good terms. She has told JoJo that she would like to talk to Tenise so they can be on one accord as well. She says she doesn't have a problem with Angela. She said Angela did used to talk to her child's father, but that doesn't mean that she wants to fight her. She was just saying how awkward it could possibly be. But I'm like, that's not what you said though, Sequoia. Maybe I feel like I'm going crazy. Do I need to go back and watch that episode? But I feel like Sequoia was really on some, I can't be in the same room with Angela because it might go down now. So that's why I'm like, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. So Vanessa tells her that, the energy that she's on now seems cool with her. She likes the fact that she's already talked to JoJo. She's willing to talk to Tenise. Sequoia tells her, I would love to have a conversation with Tenise and Angela so we can clear anything up that we want to. Vanessa's like, I can relay the message, but I can't promise anything. We all know damn well Angela's not going to talk to this girl. Tenise might, but who knows? But Vanessa says she wants them all to get along too because, again, when they, by them being Reverend's kids, you don't want to mess up any or have any bad blood. Your daddy's friends with everybody. So Vanessa, who is the more of the level-headed Simmons kids, is like, well, yeah, I'll see what I can do. I'll relay the message, but we're cool for right now. Sequoia then said that she feels like Cree and Savannah are bullies because of how they handled it. And she knows that Cree is Vanessa's friend. She's like, but I just, I don't want to get too deep and make you uncomfortable with that situation. But I went in on some different type of energy and they came at me and they've been bullying me. So Vanessa's really stuck in the middle, but she's going to take it in stride. And she's like, but because of who our parents are, I want to make sure that everybody's cool, that there's no beef. Brianna is like, who's your father? I said, Brianna, nobody told you? So she was like, JoJo. So JoJo Haley from Jodeci. So everything has to get fixed, basically is what they're saying. Not because they all want to be friends, but because their parents are all cool and respect each other. So we got to squash this and squash it now. So we have a scene with Tahira and Sean. Their wedding invitations come in the mail. TT said that Sean can have no opinion because he didn't have an opinion when she was picking out all the stuff. Sean is like, the paper is a little flimsy. And she was like, all you need to be saying is that it looks nice. Because she said all Sean said was he wanted a good DJ. He wanted to wear a baby blue suit. He had very minimal details. So now that this stuff is already printed and paid for, you don't have no comment on the baby boy. All you can say is that looks nice, right? So Tyran comes over. They have this issue with Tyran where Tyran is not vaccinated. So they're not allowing him to come into their house. As a result, he's causing conflicts with the wedding. So Tyran and TT, as we know, are extremely close. She wants Tyran to be in her wedding party. She is requiring that her wedding be vaccinated status. So you have to have been vaccinated to come to her wedding. And it's because they have an elder grandmother. They don't want to risk anybody coming and getting her sick. We all know that that is not foolproof because you can definitely be vaccinated and still catch it. But Tyran's thing is like, I'm not taking the shot. I'm not getting it. So TT is like, I can't be a hypocrite because I'm demanding that Sean's father gets it, demanding that all these other people do it. And then I always bend to Tyran, but she's like, I can't bend on this one because they really don't want him around their grandmother. So she asked him, don't you care that you might never get to be around Mama again? And he was like, of course I do. It's upsetting that y'all care more about what you might catch. And I'm like, nope. Tyran, don't do that. You have to respect people's wishes. If you want people to respect the fact that you don't want to get the shot, then you have to respect the fact that they don't want you around them or in their house. So TT also points out that so like you're really just not going to get the shot in order to come to my one and only wedding. And he was like, moment of suspense. No, not getting it. I said, stop asking him. He's not going to do it. So she was like, well, you're going to have to get tested this day, then quarantine, then get tested again. And he was like, it just seems counterproductive. But my thing is like, well, then Tyran, you can't be there. That's really all it comes down to. You just can't come. TT, you need to make a decision, but you can't require that Sean's father and force that man to go and get vaccinated, but not your cousin. You can't play both sides of the fence like that. So, I don't know if we even see TT's wedding on here, but she did get married, and the wedding pictures that she's like posted have just been her, Sean, and the baby. So then we have Cree and Sequoia. They meet up. Cree said that wasn't her at Twist Party. She just kind of blacked out, but that's not in her nature to exude violence. She was triggered about the comment about not having kids. Sequoia asked if she wanted to talk about it or if it's too soon. Cree said she doesn't want to talk about it. Sequoia said, I respect that. That's fine. I like that Sequoia gave her the space to maybe talk about it if she felt comfortable enough. So Sequoia said that before, what happened, I gave you the space to have a conversation with me. We didn't get to have that because, Cree got ignorant. So she asked her to say what she was going to say. Cree said that Cree said that, people need to watch their words and that Sequoia's problem is her mouth. No, your problem is your mouth. Savannah's problem is her mouth. I'm sorry, but I feel like I don't think Sequoia said anything wrong by saying when you have kids, you'll understand. Because when you have kids, you will understand. I'm sorry, that's a very, very common phrase that people say. So Sequoia said it's not okay for Savannah to talk about her kid. Cree is like, I can't speak on Savannah, but you did open up the conversation by initially bringing up your son because that's what Savannah said that you did. And Sequoia told her that, well, Savannah's lying. And here's my thing. Cree will sit there, like Cree in this moment, sat there and said that, basically, paraphrasing, basically said that Savannah pisses her off sometimes, basically said that Savannah needs to grow up, sometimes you just got to ignore her. Like, if you got these three issues with her, is she really your friend? Because if we're supposed to be friends and you're telling my enemy at the time that, yeah, you just got to kind of ignore her sometimes because she needs to grow up. Like, we're not friends then. We're not friends. So they agreed that, they're cool on that accord. Savannah, Cree was just saying that she jumped into this argument and everything because all of those people are her friend. And that's just the way that she reacted. Like, how would you react if you were in a similar situation? Sequoia says she appreciates their conversation because it was very grown. And she, would love to have a conversation with Savannah to fix it. If not, oh well. She wants to talk to Tanise as well if Tanise is open. If Tanise is not, then that's fine. She's not going to force that either. And then Cree would say, well, I talked to her in New York and she's still upset. And I kind of feel like I don't think Tanise would still be that upset about it. I feel like if Sequoia goes in and real deal apologizes, I don't think Tanise would be that upset about it because it was an overreaction to a misunderstanding. That's all it was. So I forgot to mention this in the review. Everything isn't colorism. So I definitely did not like the fact that Cree even brought up and suggested that Sequoia was being colorist by saying that they're jealous of her because she's pretty. Because let's be real, when you look at Sequoia, she's basically the same complexion as Cree and the same a little lighter than Savannah. I feel like the most annoying thing that is happening in today on TV is the fact that every time somebody gets into an argument on TV with someone and they know that they made themselves look away, they know that they overreacted to something something and they started fighting or they acted out of character, they like to scream colorism. This is like the 4th show that we are seeing somebody scream colorism on where there has not been any. I don't think there is colorism on Basketball Wives. I don't think there is colorism on this right now. I feel like that was extremely low for Cree to even suggest that it was kind of being colorist. And I don't blame Sequoia for having to take a moment and try to woo-saw herself, because what the fuck? Like, that was probably the dumbest shit that Cree could have said. I'm sorry, but that was dumb. Saying that y'all are mad at me because I'm pretty? How is that colorist? Who, Cree? That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. So then we have Peppa, Egypt, and Sam at the end, and Sam comes in and tells them that he mentioned earlier Egypt does not know about the sentencing time that he could be facing. So he tells her it could be 10 to 15 years. Egypt is like, that is so unfair for something you did not even do. Something happened, okay? So Egypt then said that she don't care if it's 1 year or 10 years. She's going to stand by her man and she's going to ride for him. And I said, you dumb heifer. Lord have mercy. So, but Sam is on some don't wait for me type stuff, which I think is very interesting. But Sam is like, no, I would want you to go live your life and all this other stuff. So Egypt walks away because she's just so upset now. And Peppa and Sam had this conversation where Peppa's just like, do you see how serious this has turned now? Because now you're involving us. This is going to affect our lives. Not even to mention, you know, your kids in Egypt and all this other stuff. So Sam is like, I want you to promise me that if I do go away, even if it's for a year, don't let Egypt wait for me. Don't let Egypt throw her life away for me. Like, have her keep going on and chasing her goals. And basically it is what it is. Like, it really seems like it's a game to Sam. Sam also pointed out how people have been saying for the longest that he was going to get her into trouble. He was like, and I did get her in trouble. And it's just kind of like, oh, well, things happen. Like, the blind loyalty that Egypt has to him is scary. It is scary. So, but I'm Tammy. This has been Growing Up Hip Hop. Let me know how you guys felt about the episode. If you have not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and thumbs up the video. Catch y'all in the next one.